Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. This is episode number 18 of the Smoking Weed and Talking MMA podcast. My name is Jarrod. I am here with my co-host, Paul.
What's up?
And we are smoking some fine OMG THC products here in wonderful Las Vegas. Paul just took a fat hit of some of these full-spectrum cannabis oils that we mentioned back in episode 17. Still got a few of those left. We got some other interesting shit here. And let's talk about this before we dive into both boxing and, of course, MMA afterwards. We got some tinctures here today that we've been messing around with. We got some shatter that we were hitting pre-show. We've even got a little Afghani bubble hash here. Strain specific. This is Burkle. But hey, let me talk about these tinctures here real quick. Now, tinctures... we've got two different ones here, and they serve kind of two different purposes. Like, there's two different ways you can use tinctures, right, Paul? We got a 10-to-1 CBD to THC tincture. I mean, there's 10 parts CBD to 1 part THC, and then this other one here is a 1-to-1 mixture. Both of these made by OMG THC. Both of them are solvent-free extraction, and these are with all-natural coconut oil and cannabis oil, as well as this one here, this golden milk, has a lot of cool, what are they called?
She said it was really good for anxiety as well.
Yeah, it has, not the terpenes in it, it's got essential oils. That's the word.
Essential oils.
I'm fucking high, I'm forgetting what I'm talking about. I'm looking at the ingredients right here. So this one actually tastes pretty good. A lot of tinctures don't taste well. Yeah. But now, a lot of different athletes, and one thing we've talked about on here, Paul, is a lot of people are using CBD. Fuck around, you got knee injuries, you got inflammation, you got other shit. Like, you've used CBD for that type of stuff before, right? Yeah. Like, and that's real popular. Like, we went earlier to a black belt CBD Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament. That was dope. They're big promoters of athletes in Jiu-Jitsu using CBD. They make, like, tinctures and creams and stuff as well. For pain relief, for fucking anti-anxiety if you're ingesting it, all kinds of stuff like that. But for me, I don't really use CBD for that type of thing. Like, the other way that you can use it, as mentioned in two ways, is if you're just a smoker like I am, you just want to really accentuate your cannabis high. If you mix in a little bit of CBD, it amplifies everything. Fuck yeah. Too much, it'll kind of cancel things out. But if you mix it in, like we took a few hits of this, or a few droppers of this 1-to-1 and that 10-to-1. Yeah. And I can tell a difference. I smoke enough cannabis that when I mix in the CBD, I can tell a difference, and that's pretty cool. Yeah. What did you think of that bubble hash we were hitting earlier?
It's pretty nice. It's you don't really see very many companies making hash these days. So yeah. And they were talking about it. They fucking hand make this shit, man.
Yeah, it's handmade. They offer both kinds of hash. They have this is called Afghani hash. You might know it as bubble hash. And like if you're watching on video, it's a tiny little ball. It's brown, and when you slice it open, it's like a lighter color brown, and it's pliable. You can you can roll it up into a thin tube. I like to roll it into a thin little tube and stick it in a joint. Yeah, that's real cool. I like that a lot.
Put it on your bowl too.
You can put it on your bowl. Yeah, we were hitting it with this little contraption, running it off of a high-powered coil, off a vape pen. Yeah. You can do it in a dab rig, although it doesn't really. Yeah,
it's not really.
That's not really this type of thing. It's not what's called full melt, which we won't get into in this show today. Yeah. But the other hash that OMG makes is the Temple Ball hash, which we're going to be trying here on a future episode. Yeah. Which is a full melt hash. You can definitely dab it. It's a bit more expensive, and it is also handmade. These are very exciting old school products, so it's cool to hit that shit. Yeah. I'm digging it. And of course, we got some of these oils here that we're still hitting. Same from last week. We got the Black Ice, some AK-47. Yep. A little bit of this White Widow that we did this entire cartridge almost during the UFC
smashed that shit
fight night
UFC
event at the Palms. Yeah. Because, like, that's the cool thing. Like, if you're coming out to Vegas, folks, and you're like, okay, so smoking weed in public is technically illegal here.
Yeah, but when it's in a vape, it's pretty hard to tell.
Yeah, you can get these vape pens of all different sorts, and they don't put off a marijuana odor. So, like, what we were doing is you just have your pen with you, and then you can leave the event because you can't smoke sitting in your seat, unfortunately. Yeah. I wish you could, but
that'd
you
be dope.
But you can re-entry, so we can just walk out the door right into the casino where you can smoke just fine, sit down, hit the vape pen. get nice and stoned, head right back into the UFC event.
Yeah, when there's hella knockouts like that, they are hella timing it out. Yeah. So it was like we just had hella time to just go get faded.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like inside the MMA community, there's a lot of complaints about the length of the Fox Sports 1 fight cards. Cause,
fuck yeah, they're so long sometimes.
Yeah, if you're as a casual fan listening, you might not watch an entire event from beginning to end, and I don't blame you if it's not your thing like it's me and Paul's, because they're like 7-8 hours. I mean,
yeah, fuck, they're so long sometimes.
It's longer than a baseball game. But the cool thing is in between fights, you can leave the event and go do other things. You can go grab a bite to eat in the casino. You can go like we did, go smoke some herb. You can go grab a drink or whatever. I mean, if you want to gamble, you can go gamble, come back in.
Yep.
You know, boom, there you are. So that shit's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You want to thank OMG THC once again for providing all these fun things that we are smoking and ingesting here today.
And like I said before, man, they're just one of those companies that they're just doing the right shit, man. They're doing everything the right way. And there's just not a lot of people doing that these days, you know?
Absolutely. And since we're in Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world and the #1 tourist destination on the planet, there's a strong chance listening to this, you might come out here someday. And if you enjoy the legal cannabis, check out OMG for real.
Yeah, they're at a few dispensaries.
Yeah, and they're going to get more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for sure, we know what we're talking about when it comes to weed products on this show. We don't just come on here and shill some bullshit. Like, we're using all these. We've been using them for a couple weeks. They're bomb ass. So check that shit out. We're gonna keep on smoking this shit, but we're gonna dive into some combat sports now, dude.
Yep. Let's
talk about that boxing.
Let's do some boxing real quick.
What'd you think? You watched? We had Lomachenko versus is it Pedraza last night to unify.
You fucked him up, dude.
For anybody that missed it, it was a title unification bout. Not all the titles, but 2 of the 4.
Yeah.
And Lomachenko, what'd you think?
Fucked him up.
Fucked him up in the 11th round. He won by 11th round TKO ultimately.
The thing is,
though... No, it was ultimate decision, but he knocked him down twice in the 11th. I mean,
Here's my problem, is it's hard to not... I hold him at such a higher level over a lot of fighters because he's just head and shoulders better than most fighters, you know?
If you're listening and you're unfamiliar with who he is, he's a lighter weight fighter.
Yeah, he's a fucking beast.
And he's generally... consensus pound for pound #1 fighter in boxing right now.
I don't know about that. Maybe I think Canelo, but
there's a lot of people that might
he's definitely like top 5.
But he's definitely up there.
Yeah.
And he fights at 130, 135,
something like that.
Yeah, he bounces around.
Yeah. Well,
maybe
it really was just my thing is I think he looked a little rusty, just a little bit. Yeah, he looked a little.
Been a while since his last fight.
Well, yeah, he's. You know what's strange, dude? Him and Max Halloway are friends, and they haven't really fought since the last each other fought, and now they fought in the same night.
Yeah, UFC champion Max Halloway, who fought in the other fights we're going to talk about tonight.
But, yeah, Lomachenko, he looked rusty early. Really,
took him a while to figure Pedraza out.
I don't know really about, like, figuring him out, though. He just kind of, it was, like, his own fault sometimes. He was kind of a little gun-shy. He was... kind of going, I don't know. He's just much. I hold him to a much higher standard, and I feel like he looked rusty compared to his last few fights.
But then the 11th round.
Yeah, the 11th round, he looked like himself again,
and he unleashed some hell.
Hell yeah!
I think it was 42 power shots landed in that round alone. I mean, it was a beatdown.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's how he should have done that to him in like the 5th. Like, you know what I mean?
Body shots. Like he was going
fucked
off.
him up.
There was no doubt.
Yeah.
There was no doubt.
But he still didn't put him away.
Yeah, it still went to a decision.
Yeah.
So, but he does now hold 2 of the belts.
And, sets up a big fight with Mikey Garcia.
Mikey Garcia immediately afterwards.
Yeah. Mikey's fighting Earl Spence, though.
Right, he's jumping up in weight to fight Earl Spence Jr., but...
I think the timetable for that fight is really going to depend on that Earl Spence-Mikey Garcia fight, because if Earl Spence goes in there and just fucking... whoops Mikey's ass as a bigger fighter as well, like he can get hurt pretty bad if he ends up getting knocked out.
Yeah.
So I really think it really just depends on what happens there.
Also depends a little bit on an outside force, because we've got a little bit of promoter conflict with those 2 as well, as far as I understand it. If I remember right, Garcia is with Premier Boxing and Lomachenko's with Top Rank, and they don't exactly get along, and so there can be a lot of difficulty making that fight there, unless, of course, it gets...
And that's just what sucks about boxing sometimes, man. It sucks.
Unless, of course, they're willing to put that aside, to make some money, which I would hope.
Which I would hope they would, man.
Lomachenko called for it.
With how boxing's on the rise now, like, you're just leaving money on the table if you don't make that fight,
I agree. Well, speaking of boxing being on the rise, we had something unusual happen in boxing last night as well on HBO.
Yeah, they just shut
Their
close
final
down.
HBO boxing broadcast, headlined, of course, by both of the women's fights, but specifically Clarissa Shields in the main event, on a dominant performance, just like we predicted in our column at Slugfest Magazine.
She's a fucking beast, dude. Like,
that was a mismatch. It was a beatdown.
For sure.
Good to see her win, as well as Cecilia, but so weird thinking that boxing is not going to be a part of HBO anymore.
Yeah, that's...
My whole life, boxing's been on HBO.
For real. Just like...
That used to be where you went back in the day for big fights.
Showtime, it just shows, honestly, how popular Showtime has got, Because now they've got some of the best fighters in the world signed to Showtime, Like Deontay Wilder, both Charlo brothers. Like, HBO just didn't really have any big fighters attached to
like
their brand anymore.
In it.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have gone out, but it doesn't seem to be an area they wanted to compete with, obviously, now that they're shutting it down. And we've also got streaming services coming in and making a dent with...
Well, it's kind of starting to kill the pay-per-view model,
DAZN, or as I like to say, DAZN, because I can't say DAZN with a straight face. You hear Paul laughing? Yeah. We're speaking of streaming service DAZN, which signed Canelo to a $350 million deal, whose technical way they would like you to pronounce it is DAZN. Like we're in 1994.
That's a huge signing, though.
It's a huge signing at DAZN.
Yeah.
It's a big signing, but...
Days in, days out,
What a horrid name. You'd be better off just saying DAZN.
Yeah.
DAZN sounds better. DAZN.
Whatever.
But they're making moves. They're signing
Is
Canelo
that
to a
what
$345
next
million
week
fight.
on DAZN?
That's one thing I don't know exactly. I don't know if that's the last fight that Canelo's got on his current deal, or if it's over at DAZN or not.
Waiting for you to.
Which I can't say it the other way.
Okay.
What a horrid name. We watched a fight on that service.
Is he Anthony Joshua signed to them as well?
Did he?
Pretty sure.
That's news to me. I don't know. I haven't heard that.
I've seen his fights on there. When we watched that Bellator card on there?
Yeah, I ordered it for that Bellator card, the Roy McDonald Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah. And they had commercials with Anthony Joshua on it, so.
I don't remember. I remember that broadcast, their commercials were terrible, and they kept playing some snippet of music over and over. It was like a 30-second snippit that got stuck on for like 20 minutes.
It was like they had no
fights.
TV commercials on it. It was weird.
I had to mute it, so after a while I wasn't listening to their commercials. I canceled my days. Did you keep yours?
I'm days out, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. But they are making moves in boxing. Good for them. I'm glad for it. Times they are a change in HBO out, DAZN in, Canelo over there. We got this fight, that Lomachenko fight. We got...
Hopefully Mike Garcia Lomachenko coming out.
That would be great. If they can get that deal done, I like that shit too, homie.
Hell yeah.
And that is, of course, another fight that we will, if it gets made, be talking about.
Hell yeah.
Over at Slugfest Magazine, where we got that column. If you haven't heard from us yet, please check it out, slugfestmagazine.com. We're excited to be a part of the team over there with Latavia Robertson Sports Management's got going on. Awesome stuff. I guess that wraps up boxing for right now.
Well, we still got to talk about the fight coming up this weekend.
Oh, well, we do have another fight, of course, we'll be predicting later, but yeah.
I mean, it's pretty funny.
It's pretty. We've got Canelo coming back versus
Canelo
Fielding.
against Rocky Fielding. It's Rocky, dude.
It is like the Rocky movies.
It is. It's gonna be a Rocky
It's gonna be a beatdown.
Yeah, Canelo's gonna fuck him up, dude.
It's not much of.
He's just a much bigger person, but it almost like
it's mandatory defense, so it's not like he's picking a scrub. As I understand it, it's it's what he's got to do. But we're both expecting a pretty solid
beatdown. But he's going up in weight class, which should be dope.
That's interesting. Well, before we. How about we bridge the gap into UFC talking about Floyd Mayweather?
Oh, yeah.
In Rizin MMA, who is now, once it was on, then it was off. Now it's back on. This weird exhibition
and we have
fight
a final
Japanese
we have
kickboxer.
Yeah, and now we have a rule set, a time, all that shit.
Yeah.
Did they say anything about a weight class?
I don't recall because
this kid really wants. Dude,
bullshit.
I almost want this kid to just fucking kick Floyd in the fucking.
If you don't know, it's an exhibition match.
It's exhibition in a foreign country against a sketchy B-level fucking corporation.
Yeah, sketchy, fairly. Well, not sketchy.
They're not sketchy, but they have some pride
ties. This fight
ties.
is sketchy. Yeah, this fight is odd.
Yeah, this is a weird fight.
It's a weird. It's not even a real fight.
And
Floyd
if he
says
doesn't
it's
kick
9
him in the
minutes of
head, I'm
entertainment.
kind of expecting Floyd to get screwed.
There's people who think that this young kickboxing phenom. You pronounce his name, is it Teshin? I'm not even sure.
Don't even.
I've seen his name in print, but it's not something I follow.
Yeah,
There's
I'm not
fighters that we're following here in our major organizations in the U.S.
I'm not gonna fucking make
Japanese
anybody
kickboxing.
angry on how I fucking pronounce that guy's name.
Well, if
that's
you're
a
taking
rough
offense
one.
at how I pronounce the name, like, fuck off.
Yeah, that's a rough fucking one for us, dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tension, like nonsense.
It's coming up at the end of the year. We got Floyd. He says it's pure boxing under the Rizin MMA banner.
It's 9 minutes.
9 minutes,
Three
three minute
rounds.
rounds.
Floyd's gonna lose.
People like Chael Sonnen
But no one.
that
It's not gonna be on the record though.
that this young kid's gonna put up as much of a fight as he can, and they're gonna act like he won.
Dude, imagine he just goes out there and just doubles Floyd. He's like, I thought you could double people in boxing.
That'd be funny.
Doubles him, just gets on top.
I don't know what to make of this nonsense. I'm over Floyd's forays into bullshit.
Well, and here's what he said in his like press conference. They were like, "So how come this is not a fight?" And he was like, "Well, they know my number if they want to fight." So sounds like he's getting paid significantly less to do this.
Well, he might have just done the math on his time for an exhibition and charged him a few $1 million for 9 minutes work.
No,
You know what I
he
mean?
said he's making like 20.
20 mil to go out there for 9 minutes in an exhibition.
Yeah, it's
In
pretty.
his
intense.
mind, it's not. He's probably not even training.
He didn't sound like he was.
Which would be funny if this kid's taking it real serious.
Yeah,
Not
but
that I
Floyd,
think he can
Floyd
outbox
kind of
Floyd, but
Floyd kind of
Floyd's
like.
way bigger than this little guy too. This guy's
Well, the
tiny.
thing is, like Floyd's lifestyle is he like trains pretty much daily. You know, he's not.
Yeah, he's never out of
Although he parties and shit, he's constantly training. You know, which is what makes him so good. Honestly,
We're
I mean,
not going to make predictions on this fight or probably discuss it past today.
it's
unless
not
the
a fight. Stop
craziness
calling
happens.
it a fight. That's what he keeps saying. Floyd keeps saying that. Stop calling it a fight. It's an exhibition.
You know, fuck Floyd. But interesting.
She said fuck.
Seriously, fuck Floyd. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I seen him driving around a few months ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in his white Lamborghini, just
Nice.
roaring by, and his little entourage behind him, and like little
Fucking
SUVs,
Rover.
and then there was like a Bentley.
Damn.
Because it also says Mayweather on the tag.
Yeah,
and it says
big
the
ass,
TMT. There's like TMT1, TMT2, etc., etc.
He goes to the
I
fucking
don't
Crystal
know.
Palace next to my house.
Dude,
all
I
the
will
time.
always respect Floyd in the boxing ring.
Yeah, but
And I will
outside
respect
of it,
his
he's a
business
big
ventures.
ass.
The dude has made a lot of money, and he's done it in a smart way. But he's an ass bag.
He's also put his hands on a woman, and I can
That's
never
what I'm
respect
saying.
him for
I
that.
can't get that. I hold that shit to a higher standard. I just do. We've all been in situations, and it's
Yeah.
just different when you know how to use your hands.
Yeah,
It's different. It's
Yeah.
bad enough when you're hitting a woman anyways, but when you know how to use your hands specifically, it's just
fuck
it's
Floyd
even
Mayweather,
worse.
dude.
So fuck
I'm over
Floyd.
it.
I'm over that too. Fuck his little exhibition.
Let's move on to fucking.
I hope
the
this little
UFC.
dude, I hope this little Teshin dude, whatever he is,
I hope he
comes
kicks him
out
in the
and
head.
lays into Floyd and side kicks him
Kicks
right in
him.
the fucking dome.
Right in the
knocks him
gut.
out
No,
cold.
side gut, just like kicks him in the gut, dude, just
Of
so
course,
he
Floyd
can
ain't
feel.
stupid.
Just,
He'll get sued, but
who cares,
it'd be
dude?
great, man. It'd be the best thing I'd ever seen. Watch that on YouTube 3 times before the next
Dude,
podcast.
Rizin will cover the bill, dude.
But
Like,
last
it's all
night,
good.
man,
We took that bitch down.
So last night we had UFC 231 pay-per-view.
Last night we had another case of every fucking major event in the UFC this year, dude. Like I've said.
Let's refresh anybody who may not be up to date on it. UFC 231 last night. We'll just say what the headliners were. Is 2 championship fights headlined. The main event was Max Halloway defending his 145-pound featherweight title against number 1 undefeated contender Brian Ortega. It was 14-0-1. Max is a stand-up more fighter. Ortega, a jiu-jitsu fighter, although he did knock the ever-living shit out of Frankie Edgar to earn this title shot.
And he has solid...
He has good hands.
Solid hands.
Yeah.
He's
just got sick jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he's a Gracie-trained fighter.
He's like the Gracie-trained fighter, too. Like, he's probably has the best jiu-jitsu in MMA, hands down.
You think? You think he's got better than, say, Maya or Gunnar Nelson?
Yeah. It's more dynamic than theirs. Like, in a way that it's everything that they do, but at a level that makes it exciting. You know what I'm saying? He's all kind of like Ryan Hall, dude. Ryan Hall is like...
that's what I was going to bring up next. What about Ryan Hall?
Ryan Hall is like very similar, like I think him and Ortega are like 1A, 1B, dude.
I don't want to get off on it, but Ryan Hall finally has a fight after, 2 years fighting BJ Penn. That's so weird. Which we'll get to that.
Dude, you want to hear some strange shit? Yeah. Don't mean to go on a side tangent, but do you know BJ is training with Barao and Aldo for that fight?
No, I missed this information. Really? You have this confirmed?
Yeah, Brendan Schaub was talking about it.
Wow, what the fuck? That's weird.
That's a good training camp, though.
Is this at 55 or 45?
I want to say 45.
Oh.
What do you mean? If he goes to 55, he is not big enough to fight 55.
He's big enough to fight Ryan Hall at 55.
Fuck that. Stay at 45.
Stay retired.
Stay
retired. BJ
Good
Penn,
point. Good point.
I love you, sir. You're never going to be listening to me. I wish you'd stay retired.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He said he'll go out on a win, dude. He's not retired until he wins.
Mm-hmm. And then when he wins, he'll be like, I think I can win again. How
That's
can
true.
I retire? I just won.
Good point.
I get it.
Good point.
I mean, I understand it. I just, as a fan.
Dude, I'm like, when I watched him fight Yair, dude, that was like one of the saddest shit I've ever seen.
Yair Rodriguez versus BJ Penn.
It's one of the saddest fight you'll ever watch.
I mean, that was just all out depressing. Like, there was no joy.
Like, fuck, dude. This is...
It was actually worse than the Liddell fight, because at least Liddell
he got fucking
ended
battered. Yeah.
Yeah.
BJ got fucking battered.
BJ's torment just lasted.
Kind of like the fucking second Frankie fight.
What we're talking about here, people, is if you don't know who BJ Penn is, he's an old time fighter who shouldn't be fighting now, in my opinion. He's over the hill. He's old. His style doesn't match up with today's young fighters, and he's trying to hang in there and make this comeback.
Against Ryan Hall, who's hasn't fought in a while
either.
And
he keeps getting his ass whipped, and he's a great guy. He's legendary. He has legendary status in the sport.
Definitely.
And it's tough seeing him take beatings.
Yeah, dude, fuck. He's... I don't want to say he's ruining his legacy, because he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Helping it.
But
I mean, he'll never erase what he's accomplished.
It hurts to watch, dude.
Years ago.
It's like watching your heroes get... It's like in the Avengers, when everyone turns to dust, it's like, fuck, dude. Like, straight up, dude. That's what it feels like. In that movie theater, when you're looking at everyone turn to dust, you're like, oh my god, dude. Everyone's fucked. That's what it's like watching Chuck get knocked out. That's what it's like watching Yair beat the fuck out of BJ. That's what it felt like when Conor got fucking neck cranked by Khabib.
Yo.
Like, all that shit. That's what it felt like. I was like, god damn it.
Did you watch that new preview for Rizin game?
Was dope.
Yeah, that shit looks dope. I was pretty excited that finally dropped.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. But I'm not excited with Brian Hall and BJ Penn either. But that is some sick jiu-jitsu.
Once again,
right,
like I said, if you're a Brian T. City fan, a huge fan last night, it felt like the Avengers, dog. Because Brian
Max
got
Halloway
fucking worked, dog. Got worked.
To recap, if anybody didn't watch, basically it ended in the end of the fourth round. The doctor stopped it, which goes as a TKO at the 5-minute mark of the fourth round. For
Brian had one eye.
Who really, really tagged him up. I mean, and it's not that T-City sucked. He's a great fighter. He showed
and
tremendous
he definitely was throwing back. He was landing, but it's just not the volume that Max was.
But Max was tagging him. Man.
Yeah.
Just tagging him up. It was a clear win. There was no controversy. There's no need for an immediate rematch of any kind. Like, people are talking about they're going to fight again in the future. Sure, maybe.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Not next fight, though.
I could see them fighting 2 fights from now.
That could be if T-City came out and really did something.
Because I think... Here's the thing. I think Max could be going to 55 next.
I agree. I think Max could move up a division as well. He's big. He's 5'11".
And may come back.
He's 27 or 8.
Here's the thing. I think he might go to 55 and scoop a belt and try to be double champ. That's my theory. I don't think he just drops the 45 belt and goes up. I don't think he does that.
If he did that, it would spark a lot of interest in a future Conor McGregor fight, much more even than there is now, because not only is Conor the lineal featherweight champion,
Bullshit.
He would replicate Conor's work.
That's exactly what I'm saying, though. Screw that. Don't do that.
I'm going to try some more of this tincture while you're telling us about
that. But here's the thing. I think the best fight for both guys' career right now is for Conor McGregor to fight Max Halloway at 145 right now. If Max wants to move to 55, obviously he's going to move to 55. But I think the most money to be made is if you stay at 45 and Conor McGregor comes down to 45 again and fights you. That'll be like kind of for the greatest featherweight of all time. Because Conor whooped Jose, Max whooped Jose twice. They fought when they were younger. Max is on a 13-fight win streak at featherweight.
No, hasn't lost.
Conor was undefeated at featherweight.
And Conor, people say, he
Conor never lost the featherweight title.
Beat him with a torn ACL as well. Tore it in the second round. Won it with.
And that is like the best fight that fight would fucking sell so many pay-per-views, dude.
I actually like that of all the options.
Because Conor wouldn't even have to talk shit because they're kind of they're on a cool level, kind of, like they're.
Conor should stop talking shit for a minute. He needs to change his game up. He needs to pull a Tyson Fury. I don't mean he needs to spiral out of control. I mean, Tyson Fury's not acting like the Tyson Fury before.
We say that, but I don't know if it's a talking shit. Like, I don't want him to talk shit like he did to Khabib anymore. But I like when he talks shit against, like, Chad Mendes, where he was just making jokes about him. Like, making jokes about people is one thing. Like, that shit's funny. But then just fucking going ham on everybody's existence of a whole team. Like, that was like, oh, fuck. That was like some serious shit. But, like, the playful shit talk, like, that's funny. That's classic shit for Conor. Like, oh, call up your wife. It's red panty night when I fucking fight you. Like, that's funny. But fuck your dad. He's a fucking terrorist. That kind of is like, shit, that's rough, dude.
Anyways,
it doesn't matter.
I don't want to
here
get
or there,
from Max here, because we'll stick a pin in Conor and get to that fight.
I think Conor and Max is the next fight.
It plays into this. I like that fight.
At 45, though.
I'll play along because my theory. I don't think Conor's fighting again. Period.
That's true.
But we're not going to go into that tangent right now.
Maybe later.
Okay, so what's next for Max is Dana's asking him to go to 155. He already came out and said it. But
here's the
Max
thing.
Does that? What do you think?
People are so stupid about this because, people want to talk shit about when Max got hurt. Max broke his leg. He could not train for the 6 months and then was asked to make that 55 mark against Khabib. So people are like such bullshit like, he couldn't even make 55. He's a 45-pounder. Yeah, but he also had to sit on his ass for 6 months because his leg was broken.
Yeah, if I understand, he was somewhere in the neighborhood of 175 to 180, trying to cut down.
Like, it's not that serious. If any athlete took 6 months off, like, get the fuck out of here, dude. 6 months. Like, you cannot expect them to be in tip-top shape
with a broken leg,
out of the gym for 6 months.
You can't do a whole lot of cardio with a fucking broken leg.
Well, I'm sure he did some kind of workout. Maybe he was lifting, doing something. Like, something just to stay in, like, general shape. But at his size, in general shape, is, like, 170. You know what I'm saying? So, people, like, have this weird narrative that Max Holloway is, like he's having really bad weight-cutting problems. Then the whole thing was... People have said it's concussion. He said it was not the water loading thing, and now he's talking
with his odd medical symptoms.
Yeah, so you take that Khabib one away because he technically never even missed weight. He got pulled off pulled off by the.
That was some late notice fill-in bullshit.
And then when he was supposed to fight Brian Ortega, he had some kind of sickness, dude. You cannot control whether you're gonna get sick or not. You know, like fuck.
Right, it was something going on.
Like something happened to him. Nobody knows what, but something that was bad enough to where he shouldn't be in the octagon.
He made weight,
and you cannot count that against him.
You're right. He made weight and came out and performed.
Yeah, and then this time, 0 problems. Made weight. He fucking came in a quarter of a pound under. Like, come on. Give the man where he's due. Like, sure, he didn't make 55 after 6 months taking off for fucking his leg to heal, dude.
Right,
come on.
I don't think it's relevant either.
That's fucking bullshit. People always talk about him missing that weight at 55, but nobody talks about the injury he had before. It might have been his arm. I don't know. Some bullshit like that. But still, it was a 6-month injury. You know?
I think what happens here in the next 60 days is really going to influence the featherweight division with Max as well. Because if this 165-pound division comes in and the 125-pound division leaves, like we've talked about prior, I think it's going to influence like Conor. It's going to influence Max. It's going to influence Khabib. And we've also, on this upcoming week, the day this episode drops, actually, we're going to be hearing from the Nevada State Athletic Commission, hopefully, about Khabib Nurmagomedov's punishment, the lightweight champion.
You think they're going to go?
He's going to get stripped or not, whether or not he's going to be suspended long-term or short-term.
Do you think that him not showing up is going to make them go harder on him?
Yes, Nevada's weird.
Because he said he's not coming.
They look. We can only look at what's happened in the past and try to predict the future from it, right? And one thing the Nevada State Athletic Commission has undoubtedly shown in the past is they're erratic. They get insulted very easily, and they're very punitive.
Yeah.
For
and that whole thing with the governor being there and like shit, that was
over
weird.
and over again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. In the hindsight, people in this in the fight world kind of look at it as like, it's not that big of a deal. But it's the people that are on the outside, like there's senators and whatever the fuck, the governors, shit like that.
Did you hear this other thing that's come out about Khabib? We were talking off camera earlier about Khabib. Then we're not going to get into that, about some things he said about women, which we're not going to discuss right now. But did you hear about the other thing? There's a guy writing a book about him, and they were discussing the jumping off the cage, and he said that he planned it.
Yeah, he was
he planned it before the fight.
Yeah, he goes.
No one's picked up on this.
Yeah, nothing at all.
They try to say that he did that because Dylan Dennis
said something. He asked him if Dylan Dennis said anything. He said no, but his team was talking so much shit, and he was the youngest one who was a fighter, so I went after him. That's what he fucking said, word for word. It's quoted, and it's going to be published in a book. So, like, people got to stop ignoring shit just because of how, like, Conor's such a polarizing person. You either love him or you hate him.
Right, and I
Khabib's
get that.
kind of in the middle. He's kind of everyone who didn't like Conor is kind of on the Khabib wagon now.
They want to use that Conor hate to give Khabib
who cares?
A pass on
Conor
things.
did that shit, so Khabib can do whatever the fuck. So I mean, and that's just sports, honestly.
It is. You know? It's just sports, but it's.
But I mean, it doesn't make either of them right. Yeah.
No, it's a weird situation. But we're going to find out resolution to that, and I think that let's say worst case scenario, Khabib is
I think he's suspended 6 months.
A year. They have an interim title. Does Max go up and fight
Tony?
someone?
Yeah, they were talking about him fighting Tony.
Yeah,
that would be a great fight, dude.
And then they open up the 165, and they just, dude, it's the UFC. He may not deserve it, but they'd be like, Conor, who you want to fight for the 165 title?
No fucking way they do that.
Why
no way.
Wouldn't they?
Because
you don't think they want Conor as a champion?
No, not because that.
I'm not saying he deserves it. I'm not calling for it to happen.
Hold on.
I'm saying, dude, UFC here.
Listen to me, dude. Because this is what's going to happen.
Tell me.
So let's say Khabib gets suspended 6 months. There's an interim title for his belt. So he comes back. Let's say that fight is a hell of a fight down to the wire, because I think Max Halloway and Tony Ferguson would be a fight like that goes all 5 rounds, real close decision, and people think there should be some kind of rematch. Then if you're Khabib Nurmagomedov, you're kind of out of the picture. People aren't really caring about you. So what's going to put you right back in the picture? How about the biggest fucking fight in UFC history? Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Ben Askren at 165 for the brand new belt. Fucking anywhere. Put it in Madison Square Garden. It doesn't matter, you know? Fucking, that is the fight. He gets suspended 6 months, which would probably put... You think it'd be retroactive, or you think it would be from this hearing?
Well, here's something I was wondering, and this is hypothetical here because I don't know when this occurs, but he also takes an extended period of time off for Ramadan on a regular basis.
That's what I'm saying.
What if his suspension
That's why I said
Ramadan? Like,
that's what I'm saying. So his suspension
before he fights,
and then that, and then what happens every November? Madison Square Garden.
That's interesting. Well, we'll have some answers by our episode next week. You know, we've got a series.
Or maybe he comes back maybe around International Fight Week.
As a quick aside, everybody listening, especially on WBUZ, we usually do bi-weekly episodes, but we've got so many events coming out. We've got a few in a row coming out, and then starting next year, mid-January, we'll be doing weekly episodes for an extended period of time also. So a lot of what plays out here tomorrow and this
we'll
week
have kind of shockwave effects.
Yeah, those very episodes we're discussing that are coming here in January.
Well, and I think it will across the UFC as well. You know, because that changes the landscape if Khabib's put on the shelf for a while. You know,
I think that's why we're not hearing anything from the UFC about the 165 division too, because Dana's denying it. Dana's also denying they're getting rid of the 125.
Here's the thing:
managers have straight up said they've been told this.
Here's the thing. Let's say Khabib gets put on the shelf for a while. The UFC is going to need someone else because Khabib's kind of the biggest fucking star right now. Because he just beat the biggest star. Which makes him kind of the biggest draw, but not really at the same time.
I get that line of thinking from Khabib fans. But in reality,
it doesn't make him the biggest draw, but I'm saying he's got a lot of great fights on the table that people that didn't know about him before know about. You know? There's a lot of people that watched that fight from the outside that didn't really know about MMA, but they watched it maybe with someone who knows a lot, and they're like, damn, Tony deserves that fight after watching Tony versus Anthony Pettis, you know?
Yeah.
So, I think that's why we saw in that event, we saw people across the board, their careers kind of change. You know, Derek Lewis, Tony Ferguson, even I think Anthony Pettis, although he lost that fight, I think his stock rose that night. Because everybody knows that he still has that Anthony Pettis of old in him, and just puts him right back in the mix too. So like I feel like this suspension is going to really.
It's going to have long.
It's going to change shit, dude. It's going to change. Yeah, it's going to change. Because then also, who knows what's going on with them and Conor as well? Because if they put Conor on the shelf too, then fuck, man, the UFC needs that 65 division if that's the case.
Well, we'll talk more about that next episode. Let's circle back to 231. We know how that affects Max Halloway a little bit, and we know his future's kind of up in the air because of that. So what about Brian Ortega then, Paul? He just lost. He fought gallantly. He showed a lot of fucking heart.
Yeah.
He's a tough dude, and he's a great fighter. He's elite. There's no shame in getting beat that
There's
bad
fucking no quitting him, I'll tell you that.
No
quitting him at all.
Lesser man would have been knocked out.
Yeah.
Legit knocked out, not TKO.
He fucking wobbled and kept throwing. He didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He was eating.
Dude, oh my God. Great fighter. He beats a lot of that division.
Oh, hell yeah. I think, unfortunately, maybe even the second fight, Ortega's not even going to be ready for because there's just not very many contenders in this division right now. You know? What are we going to watch? Jose Aldo versus Max Halloway 3?
You got Moicano, but he just got beat by Ortega.
Yeah, Moicano, I don't feel like he has any signature wins, though.
No, me neither. He's very unproven. Yeah. So you're right. That division's in a bit of limbo. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. What about the co-main, dude? Speaking of another championship fight, we had the inaugural.
Valentina.
We had the inaugural. I guess it's not the inaugural, but basically 125. The vacant.
Honestly, yeah, it's pretty much the inaugural.
The vacant 125-pound women's flyweight title.
Yeah.
Which had Valentina Shevchenko coming down from 135, where some would argue she beat the current champ, although ultimately losing a split decision fight. facing Joanna Jedrzejczyk, who is the long-reigning 115-pound champion, having then lost 2 fights to current champ Rose Namajunas.
You know what's strange?
Tell me what's strange.
When Joanna was going, before this 25 division got created, when Joanna was going through some weight cutting issues, everyone was like, man, she's too big for 15 already.
Yeah, I know what
But then last night, when you watch her in that octagon, she looked way too small for 125.
She was getting a lot of praise for her strength and conditioning improvements, though. She's working with a new team, and she was considerably stronger.
I'm just talking about size-wise.
But I agree. But to play devil's advocate here, because Dana White was basically saying the same thing, she has a frame that would support more muscle. She's
Valentina.
lanky.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm saying. Valentina's much like
I'm saying Joanna. Joanna's still lanky. She could put on more muscle. She could beef up.
Maybe later on in life. But what I'm saying right now, because she's fought 15 her whole career, her body is kind of like she didn't go through a process. Okay, kind of like when Conor fought 170 when he was fighting 145 before, where he didn't really have. I mean, she had the time.
His body wasn't accustomed to that weight class.
Exactly. That's how I felt.
And when you're at a smaller weight, like it's only 10 pounds, that's not a big deal if you're 200 pounds and you're going to 210. But when you weigh 115 pounds and you're adding 10 pounds onto your frame percentage,
and also,
that's a much bigger fucking percentage.
Not even that, too. You're fighting someone who's coming down, and you're coming up.
Yeah.
They're meeting at a weight class. It would be different if Valentina just fought 125, never fought 35, Just 100%. Fought 125 her whole career. She's beat Holly Holm, who's a 145 pounder.
Holly Holm was beaten at 145.
She took Amanda Nunes pretty much through the ringer twice.
Yes.
Super close decisions.
Yes.
At 135, who was also about to fight at 145. So, I just feel like she's something else.
Bullet?
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Bullet Shevchenko?
She's a fucking
amazing.
animal.
She's one of
She's
my
an
favorite fighters. Like, we saw her sister fought. We saw her sister fight at the tough event we went to last weekend.
Yeah. She's an animal, dude.
She is so good. I mean, there is no distinction. When we're talking about an elite fighter here, we don't mean there's just an elite fighter in women's MMA. That's an elite fighter in mixed martial arts, period, the end of statement.
I know you don't agree with this point.
Tell me what I don't agree with. You're probably
right. Joanna kind of needs to round off her game, dude.
I may not have agreed with that before this fight, but after this fight, I can't argue at that point anymore.
You argued with me after last night.
Well, that was in the heat of the fight.
She's elite, but she is not
greatly influencing.
All right, she's good, but she's not elite. I'm sorry, she's not an elite fighter.
Oh, get the fuck out of here!
She's not.
I'm all stunned in silence.
She's not
anymore. An elite fighter.
Not anymore.
Based on, compared to who? Valentina Shevchenko. She's
Valentina Shevchenko, of course, and obviously Rose Namajunas. She has 2 girls in 2 weight classes that have just dusted her pretty much.
Look, okay, I'm not gonna. Let me reply, and it's not that I totally disagree because you're right, but I disagree with the wording. I don't think it's that she's not an elite fighter, but I think it is.
She's not elite enough.
Hold on, she's an elite fighter who got exposed, who by a certain style. She got exposed a bit by Rose Namajunas. A game plan, a blueprint was shown how to beat her, and then she did not adapt at all. Yeah. She went back with the same thing against Rose and got beat again, and then she went up and fought Valentina in the same way, which is like all striking, pressure, low, lost. I can't deny she's not evolving. She evolves, she can be right back up a little bit.
You talking about Ronda Rousey?
Are you crazily comparing Joanna Jedrzejczyk to Ronda Rousey?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Joanna Jedrzejczyk's striking
is but she is shit. Striker. She is shit in the grappling game. She's shit. I'm sorry. She
apparently has no grappling game, and that's what I'm saying. I can't disagree with that anymore. She has to do something about that.
She's terrible.
Like, I thought that she would have at this point.
I don't know. Maybe she's kind of past her time because even lesser fighters took her to the.
Well, give her some credit here. There's plenty of times where she stuffed Valentina. She fought her in the clinch up against the cage plenty of times and showed a lot of strength improvements.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
She showed that she could probably improve further if she stayed at 125 with her current strength and conditioning program.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When did she do that? In the 5th round after she got beat up for 4 rounds?
No, several times. In bits and pieces throughout the fight.
Bits and pieces, but here's the thing. In the overall grand scheme of the fight, she was never in the driver's seat.
No, you're right. No, it was a thorough beatdown. But Valentina Shevchenko is probably... I mean, who's better than her? Cyborg? But Cyborg is just so much bigger and tougher.
She's got to be top 10 pound for pound now.
Of all fighters? Yeah. In UFC, how could she not be? She's unbelievable. I mean, I guess you could say Amanda Nunes is better because she beat her twice. But I mean...
I got it. They're right there.
They're like
they're two split decisions. Those are two split decision wins.
I mean, like, yeah.
Where a lot of people thought Valentina won both of them.
So, what do you think? Tell us what you think is next then in the featherweight division, because there's a little bit of a lack of contenders here, and we've got Sijara Eubanks who failed to make weight twice for title fights.
Going up. Sorry.
Who I don't think is ready. She's 3-1. Okay, she beat Roxanne Modafari, a late replacement, who she came in overweight against and much bigger than. Whatever. Go up to 135. Good.
I don't really.
So who is it then? It's just all these tough contenders still. It's kind of like the featherweight division, which we discussed last week, because they're both coming off a show.
Yeah.
Where you've got a super elite fighter at the top of the division, just like the featherweights have in Cyborg.
Yep.
And then a bunch of contenders
Karate
coming off
going up too?
A reality show. And I'm not dissing them, but they're not ready for Shevchenko or for fucking Cyborg in their respective divisions. That's all. That's not an insult. These are the best fighters on the fucking planet.
Yeah, for sure.
You know. So what are they going to do here?
Here's the deal. Those divisions are kind of being filled out by fighters who aren't really as in the best like situation in their divisions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Holly Holm fights at 45 sometimes. Duranda May just went down from 45, so she's kind of out of the picture. But I don't know. Then you got fucking no, man. That's pretty rough. Kat Zingano is going up, isn't she?
You know what's not rough?
What?
This Afghani bubble just hit out of this rig, out of this bubbler. For those of you not watching on video, ooh man, Kat Zingano's going up to 145. Now that makes a big.
She's fighting. What's her name?
That makes a big
Australian
impact
chick.
right there.
What's her name?
She's elite. I'm not sure.
The Australian chick who lost to Holly Holm. Megan Anderson.
Oh, Megan Anderson. Yes.
She's fighting Kat Zingano.
Yeah.
That's a good fight. It's a good fight.
That is a good fight. I hope Kat gets the win there because she can make an immediate impression. I don't know if she's ready for Cyborg either, but she's definitely ready for these tough casts.
Fuck, dude. How many fights does Cyborg have left on her contract?
Actually, I think if she has one, maybe. What was her last fight?
Was it the Yana Kuyatskaya fight?
At the very most, she has one. She might be done. I think she has one. It's the Nunes fight. That's it. The upcoming fight she has is... Yes, I do, because she has no division behind her. There's no challenges there, and she hates the UFC. Like, let's be real.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Dana said on Unfiltered that he patched the relationship up with her.
Oh, but Dana says all kinds of shit. Dana also said women will never fight in the UFC. Dana said everybody's getting a title shot, then they don't. Dana sold us on interim champions and then took their shit away. Dana said Chris Cyborg looked like Wanderlei Silva in a dress. I mean, like, he says all kinds of fucked up shit, dog. Like, well, he did.
He did, yeah.
You can't really take what he says at any face value. So, I think she's going to bounce ultimately. Do you think she stays? Possibly to Rizin. Possibly to Bellator. They have a 145 division over there. I think maybe she goes out to 1 even, because 1's making moves. 1 grabs Chris Cyborg. I don't know what their featherweight division is like. I'm speaking.
Do they have a women's featherweight division?
Don't know. I mean, we can look at the broadcast here in America.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the next thing. Not to go off on one, but if they sign a U.S. distribution deal,
they said they are. He said on Ariel Helwani's show last week that that's what's coming soon.
I'm on it. I'm on board with ONE FC or ONE Championship or whatever they call it.
He said it's going to be on a major network.
Really?
Yeah. That's never had fighting on it before.
It's interesting. So what do you think's next for Joanna then? Getting back on that story, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. You think she's not elite anymore? You think she stays at 125? You think
here's the thing. She's it's hard to say she's not elite, but I mean, it's like she's just not. All right, she's not championship level anymore.
I'll tell you what's true. What there's no arguing about.
She's Jose Aldo.
What you just said. There's no championship. She's not championship material by default. She can't beat the 125.
She's Jose Aldo.
She can't beat the 115-pound champ right now.
She's Jose Aldo.
And she can't go to 35. So yeah, exactly. She's in limbo. She's gonna be a gatekeeper, picking off contenders at best in either division.
She did that.
Because then, folks, if you don't know why we're so dismissive of her fight with Shevchenko, is also that they have an amateur history. This is not the first time they fought.
4-0 against her now.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I mean, admittedly, it was, or not just amateurs, kickboxing specifically.
Yeah.
It was like 10 years ago, but Shevchenko was already 3-0 against Joanna in kickboxing, and now they fought in MMA. And it was a sound.
It was not really a contest. So
now it's 4 times they fought and 4 times that Joanna's come up short.
I don't know if it wasn't really a contest. It just was a beatdown, honestly. That's what it was.
It didn't look like Joanna was unskilled or anything. It just simply looked like.
No, yeah, that's the problem. Is Joanna's starting not to like Joanna, who like she's contending, but she's just everyone who's fighting her recently just looks like that they're just on a different level than her. You know what I'm saying?
Figured her out a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
Like she doesn't do any takedowns. Does she?
Like it would have been different if she beat Rose the second time, because it could have been if she would have beat Rose the second time, everyone would have been like, Rose is just a fluke. But the second time, how Rose just like completely figured her out, it was just. It's one of those weird things, dude, where it's like, Absolutely. Fuck. You really gotta wonder what goes on in her mental game as a fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we'll see what goes on next. I'm sure she's going to make an announcement if she's staying up or if she's going down.
Did Michelle Waterson move up to 25?
Not that I'm aware of.
I would like... That would be
Elise Herring could move up to 125 as well.
Yeah.
She's a little big for 115.
I think she did. I think that's what her last fight was at. Yeah. I want to say.
That would be good. That'd be good for that division, too. She's a good fighter. I mean, she's not world class yet, but she still has promise. Even though she's a little bit older in fighting years, or not fighting years, but she's in I think she's 30, 31. But she still has potential. She's shown improvement in her game a lot lately, too.
Dude, I think kind of the women's game right now has kind of dominant champions.
It does, very. Like, not only dominant.
Although Rose might have to drop her belt. She has a neck injury.
I haven't heard this either. You're breaking all kinds of news to your co-host today.
Dana said that. He said that Rose has some kind of neck injury and can't fight right now.
Really?
And so, how long is the window you have to? It's like a year. It's like 18 months or something like that. Or they strip you or some shit like that. I don't know.
I know the exact window.
It's like 14 months.
No, you ready here? I got the exact window is as soon as something happens where WME Entertainment / UFC needs a belt.
Yeah.
That is when you have to defend or get an interim title created immediately.
They're talking. He said he might have to strip her.
Yeah, it could be next week. They could be like, "Oh shit, a title fell out. We're gonna strip you, or we're gonna make an interim 115 belt."
Fuck, because then
you want to hit this bubble hash.
You know what?
This contraption right here.
You know what happens though if that happens.
What happens?
Is you probably get Joanna to fight. What's the Brazilian chick?
Jessica Andrade.
Andrade. Probably for an interim belt.
Oh God, at 115, and then we're gonna see. I don't want that to happen.
Let's
hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope Rose is okay. Let's hope that Rose is okay, and she can just defend against Jessica Andrade, and things can move on good after that. So Brian Ortega next, though. You think he fights someone like Jose Aldo? I like that fight.
I think that's the best fight for him.
You like that fight? I like that fight too. That'd be good for both. It'd give Aldo a chance to kind of respond to Max. and it would give Brian a chance to
earn another title shot, honestly.
Exactly.
Because then, if he beats him, who can he really fight next? He already beat Frankie. I guess he could rematch Moicano.
No, I think that's what you got to do.
That's, dude, for a division that was like flourishing a few years ago, like a year, 2 years ago, the featherweight division doesn't have very many contenders like it used to.
No, which is surprising because Max is only making the second. I mean, he just finished the second.
But then again, if you look at it, Max is on a 13-fight win streak, so he has killed everyone. He's beat everyone.
He beat everyone but
He's beat everybody but Frankie and Conor.
Yeah.
And Frankie had a chance and got fucking T-City got knocked his ass out. So.
Well, there was a lot of other great fights on 231, but let's move on from that a little bit for the sake of time on the show. And before we get to next week's card, which is Kevin Lee versus Iaquinta, which is a very interesting fight.
Very, very.
Let's talk a little bit. We touched on Conor McGregor for a minute here, and there's been some bit of him in the news here lately that let's discuss it. Because it coincides with a running theory I've had and we've discussed on this show, where I think that Conor McGregor, at the very best, has one more fight somewhere down the line, and that's it. And that's not what I'm hoping for. It's just my sad prediction. So what do we hear? We heard confirmation that John Kavanaugh, Conor's coach, and they seem to be close friends. They're coaches, but they really seem to have a close bond.
Yeah.
They have not spoken, and Conor has not been in the gym since the Khabib Nurmagomedov loss that night. That's the last time anybody's talked to Conor. And Conor's famed striking coach, Owen Roddy, has also left the gym.
To a sister gym or something.
To go to SBG, which Straight Blast Gym, Charleston, which is a suburb of Ireland, or suburb of Dublin, Ireland, where the regular SBG is also in Dublin.
Yeah.
So it's not as big a split as it was initially played out in the news, or played out to be. I mean, it's the same gym.
I mean, it could be though. Behind the scenes, who knows what's going on?
Who knows? We don't know. We don't know.
I wouldn't put it past him.
But the fact is, Conor's not been in the gym. Conor hasn't talked to John Kavanaugh since the night Khabib kicked his fucking ass so bad, and that really goes in with what I'm saying, which is that this motherfucker's done. He's a businessman. He comes back for one big fucking more payday. But the Conor of old, that ass kicking knockout artist, martial arts living dude, he used to be in the gym all the time.
I think he's switching camps.
I hope that's all it is. Switching camps can be good. And that's not knocking John Kavanaugh. Marvelous coaches. Owen Roddy, excellent coaches. But fighters need to evolve, just like Joanna.
Exactly.
Fighters need to evolve.
But where do you think he'd go is the question.
Do you think his ego, you think Conor McGregor's ego allows him to switch camps and just go somewhere like...
Probably not.
Go out to Dwayne Ludwig? You think he's going to go listen to somebody? Or do you think he's gonna make the fatal fucking mistake of thinking he knows better and go like,
train himself?
I'm gonna be my own coach. I gotta listen to the fighter inside. It's not as crazy as it sounds.
Or maybe he's just gonna run his camp or honestly, he could just be running the same camp with the same guys except without Kavanaugh this time.
Or to finish that thought, not necessarily train himself, but find himself a fucking yes man where he's essentially training himself, where he's got a fucking head guy that's not really doing shit. It's Conor running the show.
Here's the deal, though. At the end of the day, John Kavanaugh is almost like a manager of the camp. There's not much teaching going on between him and Conor anymore. The teaching that no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the teaching that Conor needs is from people on the outside to come in and really teach him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like, maybe Conor does his camp still with Owen Roddy and Dylan Dennis, but, you know, maybe he brings a guy, you know, like...
Did you hear
I don't want to say it, but I would love for someone like Kyle Snyder or someone like Jordan Burroughs to come in Conor's camp and just, like, beat his ass and just show him really, like, get him to a higher level. At least in his grappling game.
Because you know Gunnar wasn't even in his camp for Khabib.
That's stupid.
I didn't even know that until Gunnar came out and said, "Yeah, I felt bad I wasn't there." Are you kidding me?
That's stupid. Maybe there was something with him though. Maybe it wasn't Conor's
folks
fault.
Listening, if you don't know who Gunnar Nelson is, he usually almost always trains part of the time, most of the time.
Usually they're on the same cards.
In camp, on the same card, and he is one of the top grapplers in the world. He fights at 170.
Is he black? He's
and
black
belt. He fought on the card last
isn't
night, beating Alex Oliveira.
Fucking that was a great return for him.
He's had some up and down results here in his MMA career, but his grappling credentials are not to be trifled with.
Well, here's the thing. He's also kind of, his last loss was kind of excused by the MMA community based on it was like a egregious eye poke.
Some of the worst we've ever seen. Yeah. We've gone on the
tons of people have been like, all right, yeah, we get it.
Ponzi, yeah, old Ponzi.
Old Ponzi scheme.
Right, it is. But so
I don't know what to make of it, honestly. I
mean, it's just gossip. It's the fucking MMA soap opera version of bullshit right here we're talking about. But it's intriguing.
You know, I heard a very...
It's telling about Conor's mentality.
I heard an interesting take on Chael's show.
What's that?
It's like, maybe when he went on Joe Rogan's show and kind of let the world know that their game plan was bullshit, he kind of took that as like, are you fucking joking, dude? Like, why would you even do that? Like, you know, because his ego at this point, like, why would you
He's made cryptic remarks about how, in his Instagram, about how a fighter should always listen to his own instincts.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was not listening to shit.
He sure as shit wasn't listening to the
He's
fucking
like, do not chase him down.
And he just
make him come to you. He said, fuck that. And he just came at him. I was like, oh my God, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I thought his game planning was terrible, and he wasn't following what his corner told him at all.
Yeah, maybe it's a respect thing. Maybe it's like he sees John Kavanaugh maybe as like an equal, you know what I mean? Rather than like a coach. Because, you know, like, yeah, you could see your coach as an equal, but there's also a level of respect that there needs to be between a fighter and a trainer. And I feel like maybe they lost that somewhere.
Dude, it's hard to maintain that shit when you get paid like Conor's paid now.
Yeah.
It's a world, we don't know nothing about it, but you can see it repeated over and over again throughout history.
Well, and here's the thing. Maybe he doesn't leave their gym. Maybe he just brings a whole lot more people through their gym, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's leaving the gym. I think he's just revamping his team.
You think Conor's fighting again? I mean, you think he's going to do what, like, Dana White wants him to fight fucking Dustin Poirier is what he's
I think he's got 3 more fights. I think he's got Dustin Poirier, Max Halloway, Khabib, and retires after he gets smashed again.
By Khabib?
Yeah.
You think Khabib sticks around that long?
Yep.
I don't want to see him fight Khabib. I wish they'd do the 165 or go
well,
back
here's
to
what I'm saying.
And just have him not fight Khabib again.
I'll
There's
give
no
you the
shame in being like, yeah, I can't beat that.
I'll give you the grand scheme of things where that ends up for the both of them. So he beats Dustin Poirier, and then Max with that last performance, say he moves up to 55, and they say Khabib's on the shelf, and they don't really give him a title shot. Let's say they give him Conor, both of them at 55, and let's say that's for an interim belt. All right, so Conor wins the 55 interim belt. Khabib comes back from his suspension, smashes Conor, fucking Conor retires. That's unfortunately probably what's gonna happen. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't even get by Max, honestly.
I don't know if he gets by Max anymore because Max still has that competitive drive where Conor and Max are fighting for different reasons, and there's no shame in that. One's not better than the other. But Conor doesn't. I've already gone into rants, and I won't repeat it again every episode, but Conor doesn't have that fire. Max is filled with fire.
Max talked about he wants to be pound for pound number 1, so he said whoever's pound for pound number 1 he wants to fight. Now, honestly, that's probably going to be Khabib soon when Daniel Cormier retires. Actually, never mind. John Jones is back. The number 1 GOAT. Johnny Jones. Johnny Bones.
We'll be talking about that fight fucking soon, too.
Johnny Bones.
Johnny Bones
the
Jones.
GOAT.
So all the haters are getting mad here. And fuck John Jones.
John Jones is dope.
Dude, we got this Instagram post from this guy. God bless him. Man, if you happen to be listening to the show,
damn, dude, all right, I feel you.
You know, if you send long Instagram rants as messages to us, you know,
well, I mean, I get your rant too. Like, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna be biased. I like John Jones a whole lot better than I like DC.
Not trying to get
I feel all your points. I understand your points, but I can take them right back and shoot them the same way about John Jones.
Yes,
everything John Jones and DC, they've pretty much done all the same shit. So like, cool, send us a message like that, but you don't gotta be a dick. Like, it's just my opinion.
If you're listening, thank you for your passion. I'm glad you wish to engage to that level, but we cannot get.
I'm glad you like the show and you listen, but if you have a different opinion, that's your opinion. I just really like John Jones a whole lot more than I like DC. Sorry, bud.
We're very honest and upfront about fan bias on this show, which makes us different than other podcasts like the MMA
I'm not a
Beat,
fucking UFC announcer, dude. I don't give a fuck. I like certain fighters.
Very partial, but we try to tell you. I like John Jones. I'm going to be biased towards Jones. You like DC? Dude, that's fine.
Cool.
I think DC's a douche. So,
I just don't like DC.
It doesn't mean he's not a great fighter. He's a great fighter.
He's a douche.
He is, man. And I don't mean like as a dad. I know all these people.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I just don't like him in the fighting world.
He's a great father. How can you say he's a douche? Well,
I mean, in his fighting world personality, it's cringeworthy.
Yes, he's in his announcing,
his shit talk,
his holier than thou attitude, and his weird shit talk, and his duplicity about drug cheating. He wants to criticize John Jones, but I want to fight Brock Lesnar, but I don't want to fight Stipe. But John Jones eye pokes, but I eye poke the shit out of Stipe, but I'm really just gonna say that didn't matter.
Yeah,
come on. Anyways,
and you got whooped by Jones. And then you got fucking slept by Jones. So how can you ignore that?
That's why I don't even want to see the third fight. Everybody's like, "Oh, the third fight." I don't. Why?
And then
Jones gonna whoop him again?
Here we go. Listen, this is coming up anyway, so we might as well just go into this. Jones is gonna come back and he's gonna fuck Gustafsson up. It's not gonna be a contest. That is my prediction. I think he's gonna go in there and he's gonna just fucking whoop his ass. I do not think Gustafsson is the fighter he was before. He's not
the fighter he was when they fought before either.
Dude, I think bullshit. I think right now Jones is at his peak.
Saying Jones is better.
When he fought him?
When he fought Gustafsson, he barely trained, didn't take him seriously, was fucking off. Oh, I agree with you. You're getting no debate with me on that, sir.
I think he is going to go in there and I think it's going to be a round 2 TKO.
He's going to go in there and make
I think he's going to go in there and beat the fuck out of Gustafsson.
Don't know.
Because Gustafsson has a weird confidence where he thinks that him and John Jones are equals when they're not. Because, there's a difference between DC and Jones in overall level, and DC also kicked his ass.
Right.
So it's like I don't know how else to say this without disrespecting another fighter. But he's kind of a gatekeeper of the light heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying?
DC?
No.
Oh, Gustafsson? Yeah.
You know, he's lost
he has turned into a little bit of a gatekeeper, and I like him too, but you're not beating John Jones. And
every big fight he gets, he loses. Unfortunately. When have we seen him win a big fight?
This isn't really debatable. I mean,
he beats the 5, the 6, sometimes the 3rd. But he can never beat the 1.
Top fucking 5, 6, 7 fighter in the world.
Yeah.
You know?
He can't beat the 1. And a lot of times he can't beat the 2 either.
Right.
Because until he left a Bellator, he couldn't beat Phil Davis either.
Yeah.
And Phil Davis was at number 3 in the division and just dipped.
I don't think he beats Ryan Bader.
I don't think he beats Ryan Bader either.
Ryan Bader would eat Gustafsson for fucking lunch.
Yeah, I think so too. So. I think that Gustafsson put on a terrific shocking performance against John Jones.
He rose to
but I do not think they are equals at all.
No, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think that's likely to happen as well. I think John Jones is going to come out and make a goddamn statement.
I think so too. Very similar to when he fought DC the second time.
Dude, the only people that it's like
he's
the
much
Conor
more
McGregor
patient
syndrome
too
because of his outside the cage shit gets blown up. in the social media age. It gets exaggerated.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying John Jones is a fucking angel and he's a great person.
No,
I just think he is the best fucking fighter to ever do it.
Yes, and people want to use this outside of the cage shit, act like it was like he should be in prison right now. It's ridiculous. I mean, he did some stupid shit.
All right, let's put it.
But it's like with Conor.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. But inside the cage, that man is unprecedented, unparalleled. Ain't nobody. Everybody thinks DC's so good. He fucking made DC look like
trash.
Yep. Multiple occasions now.
Yeah.
It's undeniable.
Hell yeah.
So, anyways, let's circle back around to this upcoming event next week. We got another UFC event headlined in an important lightweight bout. Kevin Lee, who we've met, or I've met. You weren't there that day, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Dude, Kevin Lee was so cool. He dug the S.W.A.T MMA shirt I was wearing.
Yeah.
I even got pictures of him checking the logo out. You've seen him on Instagram, folks. Don't act like you haven't. But him versus Iaquinta. Raging Al, Real Estate Al, coming back. Fuck.
Coming to lay down some deals.
Al's got his fuck you money. He don't need to fight. He's got his real estate gig.
Dude, do you follow
you
follow that fake Twitter Real Estate Al?
No, I don't.
It's fucking funny as fuck.
Didn't even know.
It's hilarious. Every time they like post official shit about Al Iaquinta, he always comments on it and shit. It gets hella fucking likes and shit.
Dude, I love Al. I'm talking shit. I fucking love Al Iaquinta. I love his fighting style. I love his fuck you attitude. I love his real estate game. I do. And I
Best
love
real
the
estate
Kevin Lee
agent
fight.
in the lightweight division, dog.
I think Kevin Lee is legit as fucking. Dude, I know you do too.
Yeah, I like Kevin Lee a lot.
The only thing I don't like about this fight is I like Al. I don't want him to lose to Kevin Lee. But that's
I do want him to lose to Kevin Lee because I think Kevin Lee is.
I think Kevin Lee's the uncrowned champ.
Yeah, I think Kevin Lee. I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again. I think Kevin Lee is the person. It's either Kevin Lee or Tony Ferguson's going to go in there and beat Khabib, or obviously Ben Askren. But I'm saying at 55.
I think Kevin Lee has a stronger chance than Tony Ferguson does.
I think so too.
Because of his fucking wrestling game is on point. People, I don't know if people seem to be
I think his hands are much better than Khabib's.
Ooh, his hands are. Look at what he did.
He's more dynamic in his wrestling as well. Khabib's more like I've said in the past, man.
Khabib's boxing was.
It's just different styles, man.
His lack of boxing was overrated. Like he's better with his hands.
I don't know, dude. He's talking about wanting to box Floyd Mayweather now.
That's so hypocritical of that motherfucker coming out saying.
But no, back to Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee is honestly the next. I think he is the next one to really challenge Khabib.
I could see that.
You know what I'm saying?
I could see that for sure. I hope that's what happens. I like Al, but I think Kevin's going to come out and put him on him.
I think he's going to put it on him. I think he's going to put him away probably in the second.
In the second round?
Yeah, possibly by submission. Lee's got.
Do you think he's going to punch him silly and then submit him?
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly.
That could happen. That's a possibility.
Didn't Al flash KO him when Kevin Lee was young?
I mean, it wasn't young. It wasn't like 20 years ago, or 20 years. It wasn't 3-4 years ago, was it?
I think it might have been 6 years ago.
I forget, man. There's so many fights and fighters these days.
I think Kevin Lee was only 21 when it happened.
That's hitting better if you want to hit that. That's the AK-47 full spectrum oil there in that pen. I like that one. Out of the three we got, that's one of my favorites. I'm getting spoiled with these oils. But so we both think Kevin Lee is likely to win next week against Al Iaquinta. Yeah. And he's likely to call for a title shot. Because by the time this fight happens, we'll have some resolution as to Khabib's situation. So if Khabib, let's say worst case scenario, let's say the commission goes crazy, they can make a crazy decision and Khabib can appeal it, but in the meantime that decision will hold. Let's say they go nuts and be like, dude, you're getting 18 months, son. Yeah. 18 months. Yeah. And then the UFC has no choice but to strip him.
I don't think they strip him. I think they just make an interim title. And possibly the interim champion has to defend that title.
Yeah, that's much more likely with the PR of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But Kevin Lee is then going to call for that title shot if that happens. Kevin Lee will say, I need to be in that interim title.
Has that ever happened? Has there ever been an interim champion defend his title?
Yes, there has. Renan Barao defended his title.
When he was interim?
When he was interim.
Oh, yeah, Jose
yes.
Aldo did, too.
Yep.
When he was the interim for Conor, when he fought Frankie. Right? Because didn't they award him?
I'm not certain, but I know for fact.
Because didn't they, like, award him?
Barao defended his interim bantamweight title when Dominic Cruz was injured.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, before Cruz was stripped.
Oh, yeah, they did it with Frank Mir, too,
twice.
remember? Frank Mir, they made an interim title as well.
Yeah, Frank Mir might have defended his heavyweight interim once as well.
No, I'm saying whoever had his interim title defended it. I think it was Nogueira. Because remember when he came back, he unified the title against Nogueira.
Yes, he did, yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. But that was before WME, of course.
Well, there's some other good fights on that card next week. I mean, they're lower level fights, but they're very excellent matchups. We got like
it's a good shuffle of
Dan Hooker.
Yeah, it's a good shuffle of the fucking.
That's a good
rankings
fight right there.
You know.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Dan Hooker's he's on a fucking roll.
Absolutely.
This could be his coming out party,
test
dude.
Against Edson Barboza, noted striker. Dan Hooker's.
Where's this card at? Is it like Atlantic City or something like that?
Yeah, it's in the U.S. somewhere on the East Coast.
I want to say Atlantic City. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know. But here's the thing. This could be Hooker's night because Barboza's a tested vet and Dan Hooker's he's an up-and-comer for sure, and he's really like the 55 division's getting to a point kind of like 85 is where almost everybody's fought everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see some fresh blood. So hopefully, in my opinion, I think he gets it done here and just, shakes up the division a little bit.
Yep.
Which puts Barboza in a weird place because that'd be his third straight loss. But then again, a man on a 2-loss streak is a dangerous motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to sound a little douchey here to Barboza fans, but I don't care. It's nothing personal. I think Edson Barboza should go to Bellator. I'm tired of seeing him fight. I'm tired of seeing him fight UFC fighters.
I think in his best interest would be to go to Bellator.
I don't think he has a prayer of winning the title. People know how to beat him in the UFC. I think he would be much better suited somewhere like Bellator. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't want to see him really anymore, especially if he loses tomorrow. I mean, was he going to beat Hooker and then start clamoring for a title shot?
Have you ever seen his fight with Tony Ferguson, dude?
Yeah, of course I have.
That was a fucking fight.
Have you seen his fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov? Did you see that look in his eyes?
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, I'm not.
And Kevin Lee did that same thing to him
too.
Kevin Lee did the same thing to him too.
I was going to say, and then we have Kevin Lee. I just think that he's not going to beat those guys. You're not going to beat Kevin Lee. You're not going to beat Khabib.
Well,
if Conor sticks around, you're not going to beat.
You think he'd beat Michael Chandler?
Maybe. Probably not.
No fucking way.
I was just trying to make an argument to back I was trying to make an argument to back my Bellator wishes, but I don't even hold water enough for me to bullshit. No, Chandler take him down and beat the shit out of him.
You think he loses this fight, he gets released by the UFC?
Because 155 is a short tank, I think that's a good possibility. 155 is very deep.
Think so?
Let's take a look at some other fights on that same card. I mean, we got Rob Font versus Sergio Pettis at bantamweight for this one.
Yeah.
How about this one?
He's kind of getting up there in age. Both these guys coming off a loss.
Yeah. Let's see. Font just fought who? Sun Tzu,
and then
it's a good fight.
It was a good fight. I mean, he put up a solid fight, but it was definitely a solid decision win by Sun Tzu.
Did you say from Mega fighting Sergio?
For me, it was a weird fight, man. It was like kind of a stall-out fight.
That was at 125.
Yeah,
flyweight.
It was like a standing body triangle for like 5 minutes.
Pettis just looked off in that fight.
Yeah.
I remember watching that thinking, man, it just does not look himself. So,
and I didn't even understand why he took that fight. I thought when he beat Benavidez, he was definitely the next guy.
I think that cut might be a little hard for him, dude. We've met him in person, dude. He's for 125.
He's a little guy though, still.
Yeah, but 125 is like really little.
Yeah, he's not Benavidez' size.
No, we bet both of them, and he's bigger. I mean,
he's just a.
I could see him at 35 still. I don't
He's
think
like
he's
like a half a head smaller than his brother.
Yeah, I don't think he's too undersized for 35.
No, I don't think so, but I think 25 is a good weight class for him as well, though.
Yeah, he could do it. He could make it. He could do there, but it looks like that division's exiting. But we'll get to that another time. But Ron Font versus Sergio Pettis is another great fight.
Yeah, I think Pettis wins this fight.
I think so too. And then another banger on there. We got at lightweight. We got Jim Miller, fan favorite Jim Miller.
Dude. How many fights does that guy have now? Jeez.
637.
Dude, he's got to be up there in most fights in UFC history. Because he's been in fucking... How long has he been in the UFC? Since like 06?
It's a long time. That's when you're a fan favorite because of your fighting style. That's
not 06. That's way too early. Maybe like 08?
I'd have to look at it because it's been so long. I can't remember.
06 is way too early. I'm tripping.
I was a mere child.
Yeah, I'm going to say like 2010.
It's back in my grandfather's time. Jim Miller was fighting bare knuckle.
Did he fight in WEC?
It's crazy. He's not that old. He has Lyme disease too. I just
really?
He's battling that. He got it from a fucking tick, man.
Whoa.
To the best of my knowledge, I mean, I heard it on Rogan's podcast.
And he's fighting Oliveira, who's another one of those guys who jumps up and down in weight classes.
Yeah, Oliveira's last fight.
He's a vet too, man. Holy shit. Couple of vets duking it out here.
Yeah, he's...
Two great jiu-jitsu guys, too.
Yeah, people sleep on Jim Miller's jiu-jitsu. He's no joke. That dude can roll. So that's a good fight, man.
Good fight there.
So, in our series of upcoming UFC events, that's another one that we're looking forward to talking about.
Yep,
I'm excited about that shit. Good shit coming up, man.
Yeah.
By next episode, we're going to have a lot of resolution to the lightweight title pictures and what's going on with featherweight. We're going to know...
Closer and closer to Jones Gustafsson.
And yes, it's just what I was thinking. Jones Gustafsson coming up on the 29th.
Oh, one thing we did not talk about today that I did want to talk about is there might be trouble on that Anaheim card.
Ooh, you think so? The one in January?
Yeah, Askren's over here calling out Usman to fight him on that same card when supposedly it was already confirmed that he was fighting
Robbie Lawler versus Ben Askren at 170 pounds.
And also I heard a weird thing. I can't remember who I heard it from. It might have been Chael. But that he was having some trouble with his ACL that he blew out, that he was having some knee problems still, that he asked for some more time to recover, and they wanted to possibly push the fight back to February.
Well, I did hear a confirmed report that before they moved the Cejudo fight, they had asked to move the Askren
and he said
fight,
it was,
and Askren said yes, and Lawler said no, and that's just a week, which is a little weird. I mean, it's only a week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your right to say no, but combined with what you're
saying, I heard
saying,
he's trying to try to push it back to February.
There could be a little fire going on there.
Yeah, so let's say Askren said, screw that, fights Usman.
So
or Askren's calling out fucking Colby, too. He said, I'll fight Colby also. So.
Well, because Tyron suddenly can't fight.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with
Dude, you got Dana White throwing mad shade at Woodley again.
He's like, he doesn't fucking want to fight.
Oh, my God. He wouldn't shut up about it. He was all over media just tossing shade at Woodley.
Yeah, but that's kind of how their relationship is, though. They like throw shade at each other, and then that's when they get deals done.
Did you hear when they asked him about the Ferguson fight, like in his scrum? Like Dana White's at the scrum after 231, and a reporter says, "Hey, Tony Ferguson just tweeted that he'd like to fight Max Halloway," and he goes, "Oh, Tony Ferguson, fuck yeah, right on. I love that guy." Then he goes, "Oh, did Tyron Woodley call? Anybody hear from Tyron? Oh, yeah. Let me know if he wants to fight." Out of the blue, out of the unprompted shade.
Dude, he also said some cool shit about Askren too. He said he likes Askren actually. He goes, he's one of those guys who's down to fight everyone, and I like that in the fighter. He goes, we have our past, but that's the past. He wants to fight everyone in this division. And I'm always down for someone who's always down for a fight.
Dana White is
genius. One of those. He's one of those guys, though, dude. If you're on his good side, he'll praise you. But if you're anyway on his bad side at all. He's gonna shit on you hardcore
in public.
Ngannou,
all the time.
He's praising Ngannou all of a sudden again after that win against Blades. He's like, "Yeah, I knew he had it in him." I
was on the side all along.
Like, fuck, dude. Before you're calling him an egoless, like, it's like, Jesus Christ, man.
Welcome to the wonderful world of the UFC,
right?
With Dana White. Well, on that note, dude, I think that wraps up today's show.
Yep.
Thank everybody for tuning in.
Yep.
You can catch our show on WBUZ 95 via radio.net and the Orange Radio app on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube. Got video up there. We're on Google Play, all kinds of other podcast outlets.
Subscribe, like, leave a review.
Follow our Instagram. You can find all that stuff at SWATMMA.com. I want to thank OMG THC again for providing all these wonderful tinctures and oils and shatter we've been hitting today, which we're about to continue doing. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Peace.
Later.